everyone, I am Midori, relationship coach and best-selling author to Secrets to a Kick-Ass Marriage. And today we are talking about problems in relationships. Most notably, the difference between perpetual problems and solvable problems, because there's a huge, huge difference. 69%, you guys listen up because this is huge, 69% of every single argument that we have in our relationship is a perpetual issue, perpetual disagreement, meaning that it keeps on coming back. There seems to be no solution because there really is no solution to it. And it just keeps coming back and you just get more and more and more pissed off and angry, and it becomes a bigger problem. So that's what a perpetual problem is, or a perpetual issue. A solvable problem is one that there's a solution to it. It might be about finances, it might be about chores, it could be different things, but it's something where there can be a resolution that you both agree to. Perpetual is different because the difference with that is that it gets more to your core. It's what's what's intrinsically important to you. So maybe it's about religion. Maybe you were raised extremely Catholic, so it's super important to you. Whereas for your partner, they may not have been raised going to church at all. So they don't have that same perspective as you do. And so maybe you want to have your kids grow up Catholic, but your partner totally is against this. Oh, you're enjoying my show. Thank you, Clay Mosley. But that's kind of the main difference between those. It's that the perpetual things are the things that are super like to your core. It's what describes you. It's what makes you who you are. So obviously we all have those issues that are really important to us, that are kind of that just ingrained in who we are. So when someone challenges us on that, so let's take politics, for instance. So many, we see it all the time, whether you're political or not, it doesn't matter. We've all witnessed this, especially in college. I saw this a lot, where you have one person who is totally for a certain candidate, let's say a conservative candidate. Maybe they're the Tea Party type of conservative. And then you have the bleeding heart liberal on the other side. Those two are not going to be political friends. They may find a way to communicate, but often those are heated, huge, exciting debates, especially if you're on the outside. Those are the best ones. But when it comes to a relationship, these heated debates can become big, fat problems, which can lead to divorce and other issues. So here are some of the things to watch out for. And one thing that you need to keep in mind is that a perpetual issue, again, for those of you just coming on, it's 69% of all arguments. In every relationship, 69% perpetual, meaning there's no solution because it's just too ingrained in who we are. So you got to kind of keep that in mind, but there are ways to deal with it so that's better. But the problem is when people don't deal with it well. So the Gottman Institute is probably the world's biggest relationship therapy and psychology organization there is. So they talk about the 4 horsemen, and these are the 4 biggies that come up in relationships. So the first one is criticism. The second one is contempt. The third one is defensiveness. And the fourth one, and the biggest problem that our communication issue that can come up, even though it's a non-communication issue, is stonewalling, where you just refuse to even acknowledge it. You ignore the person, you ignore the topic, whatever it is, you just kind of refuse to deal with it. That's the worst thing, just FYI, kind of a side note. But when you're noticing these perpetual problems are coming up and any of those 4 elements are being raised. So the point where when you know that this topic is coming up, you start getting really defensive, or you just try to bolt out the door so you don't have to deal with it. Therefore, you're stonewalling, or you're ignoring, or you're creating contempt, meaning that you're starting to hate your partner or really dislike them. It's becoming more than just about the issue. It's becoming more about the person and how you're feeling about them. That's when those are your big fat red flags that you need to be aware of. So when you see those happening, you need to take it to the next step and be able to think more about your relationship than the problem. So there are ways to deal with this. So let me help you out with that. So one of them is kind of thinking of it differently. You want to kind of get into their own brain. You need to talk with your partner. You need to listen to them. So you need to set aside time when you both are not in the heat of battle, because nothing positive will come from that. But when you can both sit down and chat about it, maybe you need a glass of wine, maybe you need to go sit down at dinner. Be careful, because you don't want to have a huge blow up at dinner. But find what works best for you. Maybe it's a walk in nature. I think that's a fantastic way to deal with issues. But get to a point where you can be neutral and you can come into this conversation open-minded to listening to your partner, because you're aware that this is a perpetual problem and every relationship has them. If you choose to leave this relationship and go to another one, guess what? You're going to have more new perpetual problems, and you'll still have them. They'll just be with a different partner, and they will probably be over different topics. It's just the way it is. So when you go into these conversations and you can acknowledge this, that's huge. Hey guys, thanks for coming on. Ziba and Alejandro, thanks for being here with us. So that's kind of what you want to be aware of. So let's talk about how to do that. So one is listening. You have to listen fully. So one thing that I see a lot with my clients is when they're listening, when they're so-called listening, what they're doing is they're mind reading. Because you've been with a partner for a while, you kind of think, oh, I know what they're going to say. I already know it. I already know what they're thinking. That is BS. Most of the time, and there are studies that prove this, you're wrong. You don't know what they're going to say. And it's very, very important to sit there quietly, show that you're listening, and really listen. Because when your partner feels like you are doing that mind reading thing, they're going to get defensive, and then you're going to get nowhere, and it's going to become a bigger issue. So listen, listen, listen. When they are done talking, reiterate what you think you heard them say. So that's acknowledging what they said. You're showing that you're listening, and you're being clear on what they said. So you can kind of understand them. So if they're telling you, you know what, the reason why it bothers me so much that you seem to be careless with your money is that I came from a very poor family, and I can't stand feeling that stress of worrying about money, whereas you seem to be more of a risk taker. So how can we come up with solutions for this? Or how can we agree to disagree on this? So that brings us to the next point, agreeing to disagree. A perpetual problem is one that usually does not have a solution, at least at this point. At that point, it does not have a solution. As you mature, as things change, it might, but at this point, it doesn't. So you have to agree to disagree, which is a tough pill to swallow sometimes. I know, I'm married, I get it. Been together with the same guy for 30 years, so I super get it. But in order to keep the peace and to create a healthier and happier and thriving relationship, you got to find ways to agree to disagree. So, accept their point of view. So understand where they're coming from and know that it came from something a long, long time ago. And just kind of respect them for that. And they need to respect you for that too. So it's important that when you're telling your point of view, that you're being very clear on it and why it's so important to you, why it is who you are. You married a person because of who they are, and the ugliness that you don't love comes with it. It's whoever you marry, it doesn't matter, whoever you're in partnership with. If you want to have an ongoing relationship, you just got to kind of understand that. It's part of it. And sometimes you will want to take your shoe and throw it at their head. True. I've wanted to. I've thrown my keys at my husband before, and luckily someone was there to catch them because they were heavy keys. It felt really good as I was throwing them, but not a good way to solve problems. So use these techniques that I'm teaching instead. But again, I understand what it's like to be very, very upset, very angry when someone is attacking your core, or you feel like they're attacking your core. I get it. So again, you want to listen. You want to understand where your partner is coming from. And from there, have kind of this no person is perfect attitude, because they're going to have it for you as well. And come up with a way to respect each other and understand that you're not going to agree. You'll never agree on it. You may never, ever, ever agree on it. If your partner is a Tea Party conservative and you are a bleeding heart liberal, you probably will never, ever agree on politics, just the way it is. But also from there, you have to practice it. It is something that needs to become, it's like a habit. It's like working out. The more you practice it, the easier it becomes. The less animated and upset you will get when these topics come up, because you'll be aware of it and you will have the dialogue of how to do it. The more you practice it, the more it just becomes who you are and the way you approach things, and you will develop a more peaceful, happy, and thriving relationship. So anyway, I know there's a few of you on here. If any of you want to hop on or have comments on this, I would love, love, love to hear what you have to say. So just kind of hop on. But again, when I heard, again, I've been with my partner for over 30 years. For those of you who've just come on, my name's Midori Verdi. I am a relationship coach, and I study this stuff. I study communication. I study the problems behind relationships. But the part that I love is that when I see issues, most of the time I can relate with them because I've been in a relationship with the same person for over 30 years. So we've had those heated battles. We've had those knockout, punch-out arguments. We've had those moments where I may have felt like I really, really disliked him at that moment. Pretty confident he has felt that way about me, but we've gotten through those. And now today I'm super proud to say that we have a thriving relationship that I love, and we continue to work on it. And there's new challenges that come up, and there's new situations that arise that catch us out of left field. But because we practice our communication, and because we understand that we want to be together so much, it becomes easier. And we've worked hard at developing the skills it takes to have a thriving and happy relationship. So anyway, that's what I bring to you. If you want to know more, you can go to midoriverdi.com. And then also I have a free gift for you guys. It is my couples 5-day challenge, and it's awesome. It's really quick. You get a new video each day, and they're only 5 minutes, actually 4 minutes to 10 minutes each. But I work on your mindset, creating healthier mindsets and point of views, and helping you break through some of the challenges that you may be having in your life and in your relationship, and setting new goals and finding ways to accomplish those. Really kind of cool ninja tricks that I have used to change from the career that I was in for 20 years to where I am now, because it was hard, very, very hard, and I had to do a lot of work, but I share those tips in there. And then how to set goals and create a new life path for you that gets you to where you really want to be. So it's not as scary. You get the tools in your pocket on how to deal with challenges that arise in all of our lives that hold us back, and pretty much how to kick those pains down and those brick walls that arise for us, how to kick them down and get to that next stage. So that's there. So all you have to do is go to midoriverdi.com/gift. I'll enter that in for you if I can figure out how to do this. But that's where I suggest you go and get it totally free.com/gift. And then tomorrow, I know some of you have been there, but tomorrow is my show on Blab with Sarah Moore. It's called the Sarah Moore and Midori Show. And we talk about social media and religion. We're having Jen Haverstaff on our show tomorrow. I'm super excited. Many of you know her from Blab. She is kind of a celebrity on Blab, but she's going to be talking about business. She's an attorney too, and I believe we're going to be drinking beer. So anyway, I hope you guys will all come back for that. That's always on at 10 a.m. every Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, Bear Clay, I know you love beer. I hope you'll be here with us. But she is kind of a beer snob, and so she's going to be educating Sarah and I on beer. So I'm really excited. I have to go find this beer. I don't really know where it's at, but if you want to join us, I'll post it later what it is, because I can't remember. It's a beer I've never heard of, but I'm excited to try it. But we will also do a truth or truth game with her. We do it every single week, and that's where we really kind of get into her like secret life and ask her personal questions that she has to answer. It's a ton of fun, and you can come on and you can ask questions of her, but she is an insanely intelligent but approachable person, and she will be sharing all kinds of tips with us. So I encourage you to join us. Thank you for being here with me today. And again, the Sarah Moore and Midori show tomorrow, 10 a.m. every Thursday, Pacific Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you. If you want to know more, you can find me on Facebook and on Twitter. So my Twitter handle is Midori Verity, at Midori Verity. That's where you can find me there. On Facebook, it's just Midori Verity. So anyway, I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope it helped. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.